Welcome back to Gaming News with Benny and Dan. We'll name this channel again at some point, but right now it's PlayStation and Steam Gamers. Today we're going to be talking about the Assassin's Creed announcements. As many of you longtime viewers know, I am a big Assassin's Creed fan.
That's the biggest understatement you'll ever hear on this channel.
As a matter of fact, when we launched this channel again, I challenged myself to platinum every Assassin's Creed available on PlayStation, Dan.
And how far did you do it?
I did most of them. I got walled off by Black Flag and Unity only because they have online components that I basically was going to have to recruit people into grinding for 20 hours.
I'm surprised I did not get a message from you saying, hey, Dan, you're grinding with me online so that we can get this platinum.
You almost got stuck with me online. But so if you don't know the history of Assassin's Creed, it's celebrating its 15-year anniversary right now. I'm super excited about all the stuff they have been doing, but they did slow down production, seemingly, about 5 or 6 years ago when they launched Origins, and then they took 1 year off, launched Odyssey, and then it took 2 years off, launched Valhalla, and now we've had about 2 years of Valhalla's content, and it seemed like that was going to be the new pace. Every 2 years or so, we'd get a new giant action RPG. Mm-hmm. They said, I hope you enjoyed your break, because we're going to announce 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things that all say Assassin's Creed. 5 of those are games.
Yeah, this is like the biggest Assassin's Creed dump that I have experienced since you tried to explain all the Assassin's Creeds to me in proper order.
Do you want to do that again, Dan?
No, we don't have enough time today for that.
Okay, so in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you meet a assassin named Basim. Basim is from the Baghdad... What?
Are you actually explaining
this game?
Okay.
Explaining the first game. Okay, it's the first game.
Okay.
So Basim was in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. He was an assassin that basically gave Eivor her blade, and he had a history with the assassins. He was a well-known assassin. He was a master assassin. And in the end, spoilers for the 2-year-old game, he turns into the bad guy, and then we find out he may not have been such a bad guy. We heard that he's a great assassin, and the rumor for the last year and a half has been that there was a game coming out featuring him, that we would get to know his story. That's what I'm explaining Basim for.
Makes sense now.
Because Assassin's Creed Mirage, the first one that they announced, is all about him. And from the looks of things, his journey to become an assassin. It takes place 20 years before Valhalla. So we're not going to get shady Basim. We're going to get, the actual good assassin in Baghdad. So we're going back to the Middle East. But the big thing about this is that they said that this is going to go back to the roots of Assassin's Creed. Now, I'm curious about that because we haven't gotten a true to life, the original Assassin's Creed style since Unity. I think Unity was the last one. So what that means is open world, one big city, maybe a couple, but mostly one big city. And you just go from mission to mission. You don't have like giant skill trees and things like that.
Right.
So that's what they remove a lot of the RPG elements to focus entirely on the stealth elements and like things that are related to the original games. Those are more just action open world games, while recently we've gotten more action RPG games.
Yeah.
With stat points and leveling and things like that. What do you think?
I think that's actually really cool. I always like when we get stories of characters that have turned evil, of them when they were good, because you get to see the elements that kind of guided them towards that moral ambiguity that eventually led to them going more down an evil path than the hero path. So I think that's actually pretty cool, especially because it's going back to the roots of Assassin's Creed. I haven't played too many of the more recent ones, but I was huge on like the first couple. So like the original, not bunch of skill trees and stuff like that. So I'm excited for that. And especially considering the number of things we are getting out, it's nice that we're going to get what sounds like a more simplistic mainline game.
Rumor had it, bear in mind, this is all rumors. Rumor in the Assassin's Creed community was that this was going to be a $30 like mid-game kind of thing. It wouldn't be super long, but it sounds like they've turned it into a full-blown release now. It's just going to be an Assassin's Creed game. But it seems to be stemming out of what was originally going to be DLC, which then turned into a solo mid-game, which is now turned into a full game, which is a Ubisoft formula. They do that quite a bit.
It's kind of like Hollow Knight with Silksong, how it originally started as a character and then turned into an expansion that we still don't have news about.
I was about to say, does that even exist yet, Dan?
No, I wanted to bring it up to remind people because we need information on that.
Don't we still not have information on Golden Chalice from the other one, the other well-known 2D shooter thing that was out at the time?
I actually don't know
Cuphead.
that. Oh, Cuphead. Yes. No, that one we've got more about than we have Silksong. So anyway, Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. So they then announced, they said, okay, but don't worry. If you like the current style, Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, we got the announcement of the next one. It's Codename Red. We're going to Japan, and it's going to be set in feudal Japan, and it will be the next mainline flagship title for the franchise. It's going to be coming out after Mirage, so it comes out next year, and it's basically going to be, from what we heard, a ninja story. Which we haven't actually had a ninja story. There's been samurai stories.
A ninja. Yeah, I was gonna say, I when I first heard this, or thought they were going more in the samurai. I like that it's a ninja, more ninja.
I mean, if you think
related.
samurai, they're just immediately putting themselves in direct competition with Sekiro and Ghost of Tsushima, but you can do ninja, and yeah, people are still going to relate the two of them. But it'll be standing out. It'll be its own thing. Plus, it'll be stealthier oriented, which I'm excited about.
Exactly, because that was kind of my fear was if we're samurai, that's not stealthy. That's walking into town with a sword on your side and getting ready to fight people.
Yes, exactly. So there's already people saying dead game because it's going to be in direct competition with very popular games, which I think is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I mean, just because it's going to be a direct competition doesn't mean that it's an immediate failure. I don't know the people's mindset.
Do you remember when people said that about Fortnite when they were competing against PUBG as a battle royale? Yeah, let's see.
A dead game. What are you doing? You can't remake anything. I love Ghost of Tsushima. I've platinumed that game. It's one of my favorite games on PlayStation. It also came out like 3 years ago. I'm ready for another game set in that era and to do something else. And to tie it into what I love, the Assassin's Creed franchise, I'm excited about this. The reasoning why we've never gotten feudal Japan is they said they never wanted to touch in areas that other games did. So I'm wondering if this is kind of like a new direction where they might actually do that. And I get why they were doing that, because by doing this, they're already being compared to Ghost of Tsushima and Sekiro. But no one compared the Valhalla to anything. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So
I think that was a smart start to do that, to keep yourself like as an individual. But I think as Assassin's Creed has really established itself, I think going into areas that other games have done is perfectly warranted. And I think they've definitely got the capabilities to not just be a ripoff of Sekiro or other games based in Japan on like this style. I think it'll really be unique Assassin's Creed, or at least I hope it is.
The next thing we got announced, Assassin's Creed codenamed Hex. Now, they called it Hexay on the actual live stream. So I was having a discussion. Hexay is the French translation for hex. So it might, who knows how it's going to come across. But all they did was basically imply this is going to be witchcraft related, witch hunts, horror. And I first thought that this was going to be another spin-off game, maybe like Mirage, and they were trying to go against Witcher. But Andy, who does a lot of other projects with us, said, well, what if it's Assassins in the Salem witch hunt era?
That's actually where my head went as well, like kind of hunting down witches, and like in this version, there'll actually be witches out there. That would be really cool.
And you could tell a story like the Salem witch hunt was real witches. And the reason we don't think they're real witches is the assassins took care of it.
The assassins took care of it, but then you can also utilize the Templars as manipulating people to go, oh, hey, look, there are real witches. We don't like this person. We're going to say they're a witch. And then as the assassin, you have to figure out which ones are the real witches and which ones.
And you could even have witchcraft and tie it into the Pieces of Eden.
Yeah.
Which if you don't play Assassin's Creed, the Pieces of Eden are how everyone has crazy powers. That's why they're so rare when people do. So you could easily tie it into that, which would be pretty cool.
I think that's actually a really cool idea. If that's the direction they go.
Or you tie it into the descendants of the Isu. The Isu is the ancient race, which we've now established. If you're a descendant, you do have some kind of abilities. They established that in Valhalla. So, but that ties into Assassin's Creed Infinity. Now this one is weird. Rumors stated that this was going to be their open world live service answer for Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
So it would when it was being described to me, I almost pictured it like Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
So you and I would be playing the game together. We'd pick up a mission. The mission is in Valhalla world. We go into the Animus. We go do something in like a recreation of Valhalla. That's how I saw it when it was being early discussed. Like rumor mill was talking about it. It's sounding bigger than that. They described it as being a hub. that will unite the company's different experiences to its players in meaningful ways. And according to that, they're investigating how to bring back multiplayer into the series in a form of standalone multiplayer experiences in the Assassin's Creed universe that can be connected through the Infinity Hub. So I'm wondering if this is going to be like, Dan, if we both have Valhalla, we can now co-op certain elements of Valhalla.
Yeah, that's...
There's actually modes in Valhalla that they've been playing with, roguelike style modes, repeatable content style modes, such as raiding things and going into like these roguelike dungeons. That would be amazing with 2 players.
That would be. That would be really cool, especially like, because, yeah, the way that they describe this is almost like they're saying, hey, we want to do multiplayer stuff, but we're going to use assets and aspects of our previous games. Instead of going, hey, we're going to make new stuff, we're going to go, hey, you remember that time that you did this thing? Now you're going to do it with your friend because this other thing has happened and you both have to jump into the Animus to control. I think that could be, that's got a lot of potential. Could be like
Kingdom Hearts, could be a full way to connect all the games and let us play just full co-op. That would be cool if they're just all right, here's Valhalla. Now you guys can co-op the whole game. What? Like
that would actually be really cool to co-op like a full game.
Yeah, we get like Odyssey, and we get one of us is Alexios, one of us is Cassandra, and we just play the game. That would be cool.
Like that would be really cool. Especially
I would also spend so much more money on skins because I'm showing off to Dan. Dan, look at me, I'm on fire.
That's exactly what you would do. But like, I mean, especially since like the stories say that some of these assassins have been around for basically all of time, you could use that as your way to get the multiplayer, as you've got the main person as the main assassin, then you've got the other person who's Cassandra, who wakes up in that time, has to team up with the assassin, and you've got reasons to kind of intermingle the two.
Yeah. No, I like it. It could be so good. But we don't know much, just that this thing is going to exist. Now this moves us into the smaller things that they've announced. Codename Jade is going to be their new mobile game where you can make a custom assassin and do an open world adventure. I'm excited for that because Dan and I play a lot of mobile games, hence why there was that brief period we thought about talking about mobile games over here, but the fact of the matter is we know that we like these more. But I'm excited about this mobile game. Also, I feel like this is why Assassin's Creed Rebellion, which was their mobile game, kind of just stopped getting real support.
I'm wondering if the Rebellion was more of just like a test bed to see what kind of things they could do in a mobile game field that consumers would enjoy, and then potentially move those into this new one.
I mean, between my Steam Deck, my Switch, my phones, I play a lot of things mobily now at this point.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like I don't play, like I still play a lot of PlayStation and Xbox, but you give me a mobile Assassin's Creed.
I was going to say, if they gave you like a newer version of the PSP or the PlayStation Vita, you would probably get that and play this Assassin's Creed on it.
Oh, yeah. I would love if Sony would actually do something like that, but whatever. Next up, we're getting Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the last chapter. So if you don't know how they've been doing this, is Assassin's Creed Valhalla came to its conclusion. Story was left hanging. We then went to France. We then went to Ireland, or wherever the Druids are, but Ireland, I think, is what it is. We then redid a story as Odin and went to like Odin's adventures and did some stuff in the area. So the only thing we have left to do now is connect the missing plot thread, the only one that's left in Valhalla, which is how did Eivor get from where she is now to America?
Okay.
Because they find her in America. That's where they find the corpse. And I know it's kind of a spoiler that she dies, but they find her corpse in like modern day. And she's a Viking. So if you didn't think that she was going to die at some point in like...
Right. Okay.
Lore has it we only have one assassin who lives forever. Like, and that's the only one that permanently just stays alive. So...
That we know of.
That we know of. But Eivor's not one of those. Unless this is going to tell us, oh, by the way, she was. But yeah, they're going to give us the last chapter and officially conclude their support of Valhalla. I don't think they're going to truly conclude their support of Valhalla because even Origins just got an update. So
I think I would not be surprised if this is their way of transitioning from that into Assassin's Creed Infinity, and like the next continuation of Valhalla will be in the Infinity.
I could see that because Odyssey got a continuation like 6 months ago or something like that. They had
Which is very bizarre because that's a much older game.
Well, no, Origins is the oldest. Odyssey was the second one. Valhalla's the third one. So Odyssey's still like 3 or 4 years
it's still
though.
older than the current stuff. So
they did a story that linked Cassandra to Eivor.
Okay.
Because Cassandra's the one that stays alive. So it's like, well, what was Cassandra doing? Happened to come
Hold on,
across
and
Eivor.
Eivor is in Valhalla?
Yeah, Eivor is the one
So
in
that
Valhalla.
is, okay, if that's not the start of this Assassin's Creed Infinity, I don't know what is. To go back to a previous game and link it to the newest game, that's got to be what
That's
was
where my
for.
idea was coming from. This is basically going to be Kingdom Hearts for Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
I will laugh so hard if they're like, pay DLC. Here's a giant sword that's shaped like a key, but we won't say what it is because that will be copyright.
They're like, your hidden blade looks like a sharpened key.
And it's got a heart on it. And they announced that we're getting a Assassin's Creed 15-year anniversary documentary.
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 Yep.
I can never say that word for some reason. Dan knows that, but I figured I'd go for it. Go for broke is what I say.
I saw it and I was like, I wonder if he'll get it this time. Nope.
So they're going to tell us exactly like behind the scenes of the last 15 years of Assassin's Creed. I wonder if they get a deep dive into the people that got fired and how the story had to get restarted and stuff like that.
I would hope so. I mean, this would be the place to do it, to really go into those things that we don't know much about.
Because the original writer, I forget when now, I looked into it a while ago, but the original writer who had the ideas for the story left when they wouldn't let them end the story with Desmond. It's almost like if you know the story of Lost, where they wouldn't let them end Lost, the show. Mm-hmm. It's kind of what happened with Assassin's Creed. It was supposed to end on 3.
Yeah.
But Ubisoft is like, what the? No, why? You literally created a franchise where you can go to any period of time.
Oh, yeah.
That's
cool.
They're also, this one I'm a little sad about because so far they have not wowed me at all. There's a Netflix series coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, if Netflix had gotten one adaptation of a video game or anime right, maybe I'd be excited about this.
I was excited until I read live action adaptation.
Yep.
If they made like an Assassin's Creed anime,
like the Castlevania show.
Like the Castlevania, yes, I would be so down for that because that would be so perfect. You can get away with basically whatever you want. Every season
could be a new assassin. You just tell a story.
Exactly, but live action, especially after the movie, my hopes are not too high for this one.
And then they also announced that we're getting more of the Symphonic Adventure. That's their concert series, the orchestra. I almost got to see that at one of the E3s, but we had to cancel last second. There's an Amunet figurine, which looks terrible because I looked it up immediately. You can put it up on the screen. I don't like how it looks at all. There's a new podcast, Echoes of History, a new novel, the Magnus Conspiracy, and we're getting a webtoon. Which I gotta say, Webtoons is doing pretty good with getting their name out there and everything else, but
they
for some
really
reason,
are.
People still don't know that they exist. It's weird.
Yeah, no, that's. I mean, hey, I Black Flag, Pirate, Assassin's Creed webtoons. I think that's kind of cool. The book sounds pretty cool. I think the book will definitely. I feel like that's the perfect audience to put the Magnus Conspiracy in. I feel like book readers would be really into like that kind of extra thought behind it all.
I mean, if it's like the Da Vinci Code, which was, I think the Da Vinci Code and its series is probably the last time I sat down and read a book with the intention of like, I'm going to read this story and enjoy it. I mean, I then went into the army and now we read comic books nearly every day. So it's not like I don't read, but
Right.
I might check this out if it's something along those lines, like Da Vinci Conspiracy. Now I'm feeling, oh my God, I just realized when was the last time I sat down and read a book with the intent of reading a book? Let's
Da
find
Vinci
out.
Code is an old one.
Yeah,
so,
that's what I'm saying.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
The movie came out in 2006, so I'd like to say around then is when I sat down with the intention of reading a book.
Okay, all right. So basically, what's that? 16 years ago.
I mean, do short horror stories count? I have read Stephen King novels, like his little short story collections. Do those count?
We'll give it. We'll give it.
Okay,
I'll give it to you. I'll give
but
it
I
to
haven't
you.
sat down and read a novel since Da Vinci Code. I will admit to that.
I like that they're doing the symphony thing. I kind of like that new aspect to a lot of games these days, at least with like Square Enix and Ubisoft. Where you have games that have such amazing soundtracks with string instruments and stuff like that. Final Fantasy is the one,
Yeah,
or
my wife
Legend
and I
of
have gone
Zelda.
to see that like 3 times. If there was a Zelda orchestra, I would so go.
I thought there was.
You're making
I could
me
be
look it
wrong
up right now.
But I like that kind of new thing. I think that's a really good way to. experience the games in a different way and really allows you to experience and enjoy the music for the music and not just being a background in the game you play, and you can really hear how beautiful it is. But I mean, overall, all of this news that they released, there's more good than bad in it. That's for sure. A lot more that I feel confident about than I do not as much as with the Netflix series. Like,
I mean, our plan is to talk about Nintendo after this, and I was more excited about this Assassin's Creed one, and I actually expected them to announce nothing. Like, I got excited afterwards. Like, Natalie and I were talking about it. The Nintendo one ended, and I was like, well, I mean, one of those farming games looks like fun to me. And we'll talk about that in the next video.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm stupid excited about it. I might have to figure out a way to get the multiplayer achievements and the other. Dan, how do you feel about playing 20 hours of Wolfpack?
I mean, I guess that's probably something I'm going to have to do. But of all of these, I will say the Assassin's Creed Codename Red, or if the Codename Hex is what we think of, like Salem Witch Trials, I think that'll be really, really cool. But for what we do know, Codename Red sounds like it's going to be a really, really fun one, and probably will be my first time back in Assassin's Creed since Odyssey.
Yeah.
So it's not been too long, but
you gotta play Valhalla, man. You gotta play it.
I see. The reason why I never did was I remember this now. I downloaded Ubisoft Plus or Ubisoft Connect, whatever it is. Downloaded Valhalla, installed it, opened it. It blue screen of death to my computer, so I uninstalled it and never touched it again.
I'll get it for your PlayStation. Oh, you gave me that.
Yep.
It's got a good home here.
Which one are you most excited for of these? Since you, it's probably harder for you to pick one.
It's a lot harder for me. Mirage, I think the most excited for, just to try something, like, see what their ideas are to bring the stuff that worked and then make a classic Assassin's Creed. I think that's the one I'm most excited for.
Okay.
As far as the action RPG, I'm going to lean towards Red, because I'm one of those ones that has always wanted a ninja assassin story. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed today. The goal of me and Dan being on this channel is to get back to try daily gaming news. Just something we record in the morning, and Dan busts it out and drops it off. So if you want to see discussions like this, like the channel started, just going back to what we wanted, like, subscribe, let us know in the comments down below. We're also going to be starting a weekly giveaway real soon, probably next week or the week after my vacation. We're going to give away the games we talk about.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. This is new to me.
Yeah. That's how we're going to boost the traction on the channel.
All right.
So if you want to be a part of that, make sure you join up and go check out our Discord and everything. All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.